Hey, Mom. Okay, before you guys come at me for wearing the same sweatshirt, listen, you guys all know. You guys all know.
But they don't know, okay? They don't know, so why don't you tell them?
I am wearing this again because our lovely Hina binged the show.
I did it, guys. I wasted 2 days of my life and binged this damn show. Actually, I think it was 3 days. I'm not gonna lie to you, girl, you were like, oh my god, this show is amazing. And honestly, I feel like some brain cells of mine died.
Oh, deaths.
Because I just, like, I got into it, but I was also, okay, there are certain parts that I really got into it. Maybe I'll share spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, just...
3, 2, 1. We'll do a 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
And you'll know to just skip ahead.
That's a really great idea. Okay, so yeah, I saw it and I just did not fall in love with it. I don't know if I would watch season 3, but I probably would, because now it's like I'm already in. I'm already in. But there was a lot of annoying moments where I was getting really frustrated.
Okay.
And like I needed a better plot, because I feel like if I'm comparing it to One Tree Hill, like One Tree Hill had an amazing plot.
It did.
So I feel lots of like twists and like a lot of cool stuff, and they had so many seasons.
Yeah.
This one I'm like, what more can happen?
Yeah.
It's just like a love triangle over and over and over again. Like I was getting overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted to go in there and be like, you like her? Okay, go for it. Shoot your shot. It didn't work? Okay, then you need to move on and do something else. That's where I was.
Yeah.
How were you?
So I liked it because I think I've just been looking for that. Like I think I mentioned it before, but I've been looking for like that type of like drama where the teeny bopper, that Twilight-esque, like, you know, because it's like that's what I grew up watching.
It's nostalgic.
It is.
Yeah.
And I just like not that I feel like the show is innocent whatsoever, but I just feel like there is an innocence to the show. The way it's filmed, the language, the like scenery, that kind of thing. Like it's not, you know, it's not it's not like Game of Thrones, like raunchy and you know what I mean? Like there are parts of Game of Thrones.
Own type of amazing though.
Okay, first of all,
throw that out there.
It is, because it's up there with Breaking Bad.
For sure.
But there were moments in Game of Thrones where I felt a little bit uncomfortable. I was like, okay, can I skip this? Because it's a lot.
I used to do that too.
Right? So I feel like it was just as amazing as the show was. I had moments like that. But with this, I found that there is an innocence to the show that just attracted me to it. So I have to ask you the question.
Ask me.
Are you Team Jeremiah? Are you Team Conrad?
I'm gonna lay down the law. I'm gonna lay it down, okay? Because I'm seeing all these people on TikTok and IG about Team Conrad. I'm not Team Conrad. I'm Team Jeremiah.
Ooh.
I'll tell you why. First reason I'm Team Jeremiah is, has anybody seen Jeremiah's eyes? Are we not?
The heart of the ocean.
The heart of the ocean. Oh my gosh. That's coin the phrase. Trademark that, Jeremiah. Right here.
Let's go.
What bothers me about Connie? First of all, the fact that his name is Connie. Like nickname Connie, Belly. Like, come on, come up with something. We're gonna talk about that later. This guy had so many opportunities.
He did.
Honestly, this is what bothers me, because I'm like, fam, like for real, okay? Like you had the chance, okay? Belly's been trying, okay? That girl is obsessed, and you didn't take what were you doing? Why did you do what you did in season 2? Why would you leave her hanging? Like, I'm not gonna say it. 3, 2, 1. I'm not gonna say it. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Why would you do that? First of all, that is so shady. I don't care what's going on in your life. You do that to a girl, immediately cut. You have no chance again. Goodbye. And she, but who was there? Jeremiah. Jeremiah was there through all the BS. He stuck it through with her.
He did.
So when Connie is getting super cheesed at the end, I was just like, take your emotional malfunction, go sit back in your car and drive on back to Brown's, okay? Because honestly, it was really pissing me off.
Yeah.
Like, it was actually making me mad. I was like, you don't deserve her. And she is also just...
Yes. Her, okay, we're gonna get to her in a second. But you've watched Twilight, or have you read the books, or
both? I've watched Twilight. I've read the books.
So in that case, in Bella's case, not Belly's case,
okay,
are you Team Edward or are you Team Jacob? Okay, why?
Because Team Edward is a vampire.
He left her too.
But he left her because he knew that she would die. Okay, if she was with him, she would die. God, you don't have to. You don't know.
Listen, I know.
Team Jacob, I would have walked out. I would have said goodbye. The podcast is over. We're not doing this. There's no Team Jacob.
So
Jacob with her daughter, like
okay, yeah, that's just okay. That was a whole other ending. That was a whole other ending.
we don't need that energy.
So I was always Team Edward, and I am also Team Conrad because they're soulmates.
Honestly,
It's like with Gilmore Girls.
I cannot with you.
It's like with Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
How it was always Dean. Guys, Rory, whatever happened with Rory, Dean had to be her soulmate, and she messed it up.
Okay, she might have messed up. At the end of the day, I think like in this situation, cousins, okay, in this situation, I'm like, Conrad, how many L's are you gonna take?
I know.
Like,
But his mom. They
3, 2, 1.
spoiler alert.
Okay, I get the mom thing. I get the mom thing, but it's also Jeremiah's mom.
It is. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
They have the same mom.
Okay.
So if one is going, and plus Jeremiah, listen, for the people that have seen, Jeremiah was with his mom the whole time.
He was.
He stuck it out and he was there for Belly. Come on. Like you can't, he is being too much right now.
Okay, so I totally agree with you. I agree with you.
know.
I am Team Jeremiah, but I don't want him with Belly.
Who do you want with them?
He needs to be with someone better because I am just gonna say it now for everybody to hear, and I don't care if I get heat for this or not, but I feel like I won't.
I hope you do. Whatever you're gonna say.
Belly is toxic
Oh my
AF.
Belly needs to chill.
I'm never gonna be Team Belly.
I feel like Belly is just, but I have to say with Belly, okay, like this is my female hormonal self, okay? This is what I would say to Team Belly. I would say she's obviously going through something. She's a teen, you know, like emotions are everywhere. Emotions are everywhere.
Okay.
Okay, things are going on. And
Okay.
she is feeling like, I don't know what she's feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe she's realizing that Conrad ain't it. Okay, maybe she's realizing that I thought he was it.
Okay.
The real one that was it was the one that was always there.
Maybe.
That's what I think. Maybe she's just seeing him in a different light.
Maybe.
However, the way that they're putting the story out there is like, boo freaking who Conrad, and I am not here for it.
Okay.
Like Conrad should have stepped up.
He should have stepped up. Look, he made a lot of mistakes on the show. Like there were so many times where I was like yelling at the screen, like, "What are you doing?"
I wanted to throw something at the screen.
Yeah, why are you behaving this way? And I never felt that way towards Jeremiah. I love his character on the show.
Steady.
He is very steady,
Very good look.
handsome, the beautiful eyes, all of that. And he was there for his mom, and he did all of these things, and he's there for Belly and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
He definitely deserves someone better though. Like I don't want them together because he's such a good individual on the show that he needs someone better.
You know what though? I feel like Belly is a good person. I'm cracking up because I'm actually talking about this. Like, this is my cousin, and
We're just gonna X that. What do you mean Belly's a good person? What do you mean?
I feel like she's just going through things, Aruj. She's dealing with she has a lot on her plate. She's going through a lot, okay? And I think that she also felt really guilty for what was going on.
I mean, she did. She did.
I felt the vibe.
She did.
Hopefully, in the 3rd season, she'll figure her shit out. Because honestly, even I was like, Yad, come on.
Yeah.
You know, like,
But there's something about the show that makes you binge it.
it does. You know what it
And I
is?
don't know what it is.
Because we all want to have a beach house like that. That's the truth.
Facts.
We all want to have a life like that, okay?
I need that beach house.
Like, can we do that for our kids?
Oh my god, seriously.
Like, we get a beach house at that level beach house.
Yeah.
Yo,
that pool, that pantry. Come on. We need that.
Belly's room?
Oh, come on.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Okay, but this is a great segue.
Yes.
Into like toxic relationships, okay? Because I feel like that is so common.
Yes.
And like we don't really talk about that. So like what's your take on something similar like in our community, like the brown community?
So I'm finding that there are different, obviously like toxicity in itself is a huge spectrum.
Yeah.
And I find that you will find people ranging from like a little bit here and there, maybe a little bit of like put downs or whatever that they take from their partner or just whatever to like physical violence and abuse and all these things. So I feel like there's just a huge range, but I feel like our community is just there's a lot of like hush hush around it.
Oh, totally.
You know,
it's like a taboo topic.
Yeah, taboo. Yeah. Even though you would think in this day and age, it's 2023,
right?
But there is still a lot of that around it. There's a lot of stigma around it. A lot of our, and I'm gonna say this because I feel like everybody can relate, but a lot of our parents' generation just said, "It is what it is.
Yeah,
this is the life, and you need to stick it out and just take it in for what it is.
Yeah,
like that's just what it is, and you will find happiness in it.
Yeah,
and I just feel like I see a lot of like." This is not the right phrasing, but I see a lot of like mediocre toxicity. So it's not
a great way to put it,
right? Like it's not an extreme end.
Yeah.
It's just there. It's flat. It's in the middle.
Yeah.
But you see it between couples, and I'm sure people can relate. Where like people who are married and like are starting to have kids or have kids, and like that they're fine.
Yeah.
But you also hear the kind of maybe the wife is being very like helicopter mom, and then the dad steps back, but then the wife is getting upset that why the dad doesn't participate in certain things, or it's like the dad is nothing changed in the dad's schedule.
Yeah,
you've been a dad for a year and a half now, and you're still downstairs playing video games for like 3 hours.
Totally. But I think that is like such a big deal because we call it mediocre toxicity, which I think that's great, but other people see it as like, no, that's normal. Like that's normal behavior.
Yes.
Like, can you imagine like our parents, just the way that we've been raised up? I think we were talking about this in another episode where we were talking about how like the man is treated very differently than the woman. Like there's just way more love from both sides, whether it's like his parents or your parents as a wife. Like he's always going to be treated like this like king.
Oh, for sure.
Whereas like the woman, she might get some of that love from her side of the family, but like from the flip side of it, it's just harder to get to that level. You know what I mean? So I think like a lot of that behavior is almost like swept under the rug.
Oh yeah.
Where, so what if he's playing video games? Like he's worked an 8-hour shift. But it's just like so unfair. And I think as women, like because that's what we've been told, we immediately go back to that thinking ourselves, even though we're raised here or, we're educated, whatever it may be. But we also go back to that because that was something that was taught to us.
Exactly.
To like accept it for what it is because it could always be worse, And I think it also comes down to the fact that it's like, it doesn't have to be the extreme of like physical abuse, right? Or like you married a narcissist or whatever it may be. Sometimes it's just small things that like trickle and they become the big things. Like it's just hard because you don't know exactly what those small things are. And sometimes because you're already so in that marriage and so invested in it, you don't even see how like those small things have had an impact on you as a person.
Oh, definitely.
Because I think a lot of people, they'll look back and they'll say, they'll reflect on themselves and they would have been completely different people when that relationship would have started, which a lot of people are, of course, with time you change. But when you notice that the spark or like the happiness that you were as a person or things that made you happy are kind of fizzling away, fizzing away, it's kind of just like, I don't know, it's just difficult.
It is.
To go through that.
It is.
You don't realize it because it's just such a slow transition into this new person that you've become.
Yes,
and
exactly.
You've lost so much of that vibrancy and those things that made you who you were before.
Exactly. Yeah. And do you find that like a lot of men, I find in the brown community, Desi community, that they still, a lot of them carry that value where it's like the woman has to run the home.
For sure.
And the woman has to be with the kids. So like,
for sure.
Oh, if I change a diaper, dad of the year.
Yeah.
Like, but that doesn't.
It doesn't. And I think,
and you like being a present dad is work for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But it's like when you have other people in society being like, why are you doing that? You don't need to change a diaper. What do you mean? We never change diapers.
Totally.
Come, let's go like downstairs and play video games for 3 hours. And when they keep pushing that behavior and saying that, no, you want to be a present dad and you want to be there for your wife too. But listen, we don't do this in our culture. Come back to us and play video games for 3 hours. Then how do you navigate that?
Okay. Have you ever experienced this where like I've seen this in a lot of men, okay, where like at home they'll be a different type of way and then when they go out and they're with other men, it's almost like they have to put on this like macho behavior of like, oh no, like if you're like, hey, can you help me with this, and they'll just be like, I can't do that, you can do it. And it's just like a shit.
Yes.
Like, and I'm not saying all men are like this, but I'm saying I've just seen that and I'm just kind of like, why is there a shift? Like, is it encouraged by other men that, like, if you help your wife or your significant other, that you are not masculine enough or something? Because I think that is also something that's taught, right, in our culture, where it's like the man has to be this like masculine kind of guy, which I think it's okay. Like, it's hard because I feel like, yeah, the man should be masculine for sure, but I just think it's a fine line, because you can still be masculine and like be supportive.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And not be that toxic personality.
Yeah.
But I think toxicity is not just a one-way thing. It's not just men. Like, there's also toxic women too, of course. But it's
Belly.
yeah, belly. Figure A, belly. But I don't know. Like, I completely agree with you that, like, there's this like mediocre level of toxicity that no one talks about, because it's almost kind of like acceptable.
Yeah,
It's
because
extreme.
yes,
Not extreme.
because it's not an extreme case, because
Yeah.
you're not coming home with a black eye, because people are not swearing at you on the couch, because you're not experiencing such an extreme end of abuse. Like, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're okay. What are you complaining about?
Yeah.
You have a home, you're happy, like,
Yeah.
your husband works and he still spends like an hour whatever with you, or like,
Can I just say to what you just said right now? You said, like, you have a home. You know what? I feel like that is like a big thing, because people, like, when you're getting like married to somebody or you meet someone, your parents and like everyone else is like, it's not about material things. They always say this. Every parent says this all around it's not about material things, okay? But like, when you are in a relationship and you ever say that, like, I'm unhappy or whatever it may be, it's like, but you have a beautiful home.
yes.
You have a nice car. And sometimes you're just like, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Doesn't really mean anything, and now all of a sudden it's about the material things, you know? So I think, like, it's just so hard, because I don't think that you can even say that I'm unhappy.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that even exists in like the minds of like the older generation, or even our own generation.
Yeah.
People don't understand that.
Yeah.
'Cause for them it's just like, well, from what I see, you look fine.
Yeah.
You know?
You have everything.
Yeah,
What do you mean you're unhappy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't think that like we are able to even grasp that idea that someone could potentially be in an unhappy relationship unless there is something extreme happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also have like felt it's so hard to, like, if I put myself in somebody's shoes and I'm unhappy, like, it would be so hard to go back and like tell someone that. And then that's exactly it. The judgment piece is there, where they're like, okay, but you have like a job and you have kids and you have a home and you have a nice car and you go out with your friends and you've done all these things. You've done like family trips. You've done all these things. Like, I don't understand why you're unhappy. And then you're kind of like, but you realize very quickly that there are certain things in a relationship that you need to solve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have a lot of people who ask me about my marriage and like the way like Farhan and I work.
Yeah.
And we've been married for 8 years now.
Yeah.
So it's like we're reaching, like, mashallah, it's been a fun ride. You know what I mean? But yeah, the ups and downs are there. But I know that all of this may be great.
Yeah.
But I learned on from a very early age, way before I even met him, that material items don't bring me joy.
They don't. Oh
They
my
don't.
gosh, they really don't.
And I don't care for them, and I don't, like, it just doesn't bring me joy.
Yeah.
And so I feel like because of that, I know that I put in way more work in my relationship with
Yeah.
my husband, and I have to put in the extra time or effort, even though I'm exhausted from a crazy day or all these things. That extra effort needs to go in there, because that's where my joy is going to come from.
For sure, for sure.
So I get that. There's a lot of like, it's really hard to vocalize things, and I think it's easier said than done. Like, you can easily say like, well, if you're unhappy, just leave.
Yeah, it's
But then the other person is gonna be like, where am
not
I
that
gonna
easy.
go?
Yeah, that's
And
so true.
Even though we're women in 2023, sometimes there are circumstances where you're like, where am I actually gonna go?
Yeah, like if you're a stay-at-home mom and you've been momming
Yeah.
for like the last 6-7 years.
Yes.
Now those 6-7 years are obviously not going to be on your resume. Like, you're not going to write stay-at-home mom, even though it should be. But you have to like start from scratch, and you have to figure it all out. And now it's not even just you; it's you and your kid, or your kids, or
Yep.
even if it's just you.
Yeah.
It's just a very like scary moving on portion. Whereas like for the guy, a lot of the times he would have been working and he has like stability and like he's got things on lock.
Yes.
But you are always going to be in like a worse position, and not even just when it comes to like a career, but also the court of public opinion, right, in our community. In the court of public opinion in our community, if a woman makes that decision, it's just like something is wrong with her. Because if it's not abuse, then it must be something else.
Yeah.
With her, like what's going on, So I feel like that sucks more for women because you don't even have the courage to make a decision like that. And even if you got the courage to make a decision like that, just know that like everyone and anyone that is going to be like, what happened? Like, what's going on? I don't understand. But everything looked great. What's happening?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
You would wish that like people could be a little bit more understanding, but I think as women, you have to mentally prepare yourself for situations like that because you're probably like, not only do I have to deal with this whole issue, but now I have to deal with the issue of like everybody else saying things, thinking things, talking about me behind my back and whatnot. So I think that's like definitely like a really hard thing to have to go through.
And I find that there's so many other like things, like we just went through COVID and everything in the workplace changed. And if you've been a stay-at-home, like we've had kids during COVID. But like if you've been a stay-at-home mom and or you've had kids during this time, like the system is so different now. No matter what career you're in, everything is different. It does not look like what it did in 2019. You know what I mean? And so I find that, if you've had kids or you've been at home and raising your kids for the last, so not only are you trying to get back the 4 or 5 years that you weren't working, but you're also trying to catch up to this new age of like the workforce.
Exactly.
Which sometimes, honestly, it seems impossible because there's just so much out there that you don't even know how to. Sometimes I find, and I feel like a lot of moms can relate to this, when you're on mat leave and when you have kids, your brain shrinks. Sometimes I find it hard to have a conversation with an adult.
Sure.
And I stumble on my words and I forget things and I can't complete a thought. And I find that and you're probably noticing this on the podcast. Like I have a lot of sentence fillers and sometimes I'm like, and it's literally because of pregnancy. It took my brain cells away. And then I was on mat leave trying to just sing Wheels on the Bus nonstop so my kid would stop crying.
But that's so true,
right?
You gave up your social life.
Yes.
You really do. Like you give it up and you're like so invested in your children that you don't get the opportunity to go outside and interact with other people. Or even discuss like work. You know what I mean? Or not talk about just mom life. Because we can sit here and we talk about mom life and it's like the easiest conversation ever because that's what we are. Moms, right? But like, there's people that have to go out into the workforce and have that life as well. And it's just really tricky to balance both. And still be like great at your career and then great at home. It's just so hard.
It's so hard. Anytime I've had to go back to work after like a mat leave.
It's like you're playing catch up constantly.
And it's like the language changes, the way people behave are changing. And like when I went back and it was like peak COVID, I'm just masked up and kids are scared of me.
I actually remember your PPE gown.
So
it was like a hospital nurse.
Oh my goodness.
Like in the...
For those of you who are just joining, I'm a teacher by trade. So like, I've been teaching for a number of years now. So I can't even remember. And so I went back to work when it was COVID and I had to wear, so I would help kindergarten teachers. Like I would assist them in the beginning of the school year because when kindergarten kids come in, they cry a lot and it takes so much time to adjust. So any extra hands that they could use, they like to do that for the first few weeks of school. And so I was thrown in there, but I was pregnant with my second at the time and my principal knew. So she literally gave me like the PPE gear where it was the gown.
Share that picture.
I will find it for you. And
I think I have it.
And it was like the gown, I had the mask, I had the face shield and rubber gloves.
That's wild.
And I would go into the kindergarten classroom and they would literally look at me like I was a robot. They would freak out.
That's so scary.
And that was a huge adjustment. Like when I went back to work and I was just masked up all the time. Like after that, obviously, then I was switched to online. So I taught grade 1 and 2, I taught that online, which was fine. And then I had my second and then I was pregnant with my third, but I went back to work while I was pregnant with my third. And that time around I was just masked. And even then, like the kids, they just, like kudos to the kids.
Honestly, I felt so bad for them.
And they took it like champs.
No, they really did.
And these poor kids are like pulling down their masks and eating their
know.
lunch, and then they would put their mask back up. And I was like, you guys are sweethearts.
I feel like my daughter she was always so scared that like, I don't have my mask, mommy. I don't have my mask. And I felt so bad.
Yeah.
It was her first year in school.
Oh.
And I think she genuinely thought that this is what school is. Like,
Yeah.
you always have to have a mask on,
Yeah.
which sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks so bad. So yeah, definitely kudos to them. But honestly, all of the, like, majority of us friends are teachers. I'm not, but like you guys and like so many other people. And I feel like you guys all have had the same experiences when it came to this stuff where it was like, online teaching is really difficult.
Ooh.
And I also feel like going into class and having to deal with the whole like PPE and masks and this and that, and not even knowing is school gonna be open next week or
Yeah.
are we back in quarantine? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah. I'm kind of scared because I'm hearing like COVID is making a
I
comeback.
swear to God, if I can't deal with it. Mm-mm.
So I heard it's making a comeback, and I don't know.
Leaving the planet. I can't deal with this shit. Okay. Like, I felt like my life ended. I was like, there is nothing to do.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
I cannot deal with this.
Yeah.
So if it's making a comeback, good luck.
Yeah.
Because I'm just gonna be living my life.
Yeah, I don't know how you're. I don't know if I asked you this, but when I was in labor, I've had both my babies, like both my my youngest ones during COVID. I was masked up during my labor,
I actually wasn't.
and I couldn't remove my mask, and I had midwives.
That's messed up.
But because the second time around it was so peak,
Oh.
they were like, no, like I'm so sorry, but like you have to leave it on. I don't even remember what my midwives looked like.
Wow.
Because they were masked up all the time. Yeah, so I just like remember their eyes.
Oh my gosh. You know what?
Crazy.
I did not. Okay, so I had a mask on when they induced me, and then I was just like, I cannot deal with this.
Yes.
Goodbye mask.
Yeah.
And I threw it away because I was just like, I can't. I couldn't breathe. I can't breathe in those masks.
Yeah, girl, I was like,
No.
and my mask was on. And I was like, oh my god! And literally by the end of like labor, it was like sweat.
Oh my gosh.
Because you sweat like crazy.
How did you do that?
It was really bad. And then finally, like when the room settled, I was like, can I please take my mask off? And they're like, oh my god, yes, take it off. And then they left.
Yeah.
They left the room, and I was just like with my baby for like a couple minutes or whatever, and Farhan was there, and then I just took my mask off, and it was
I'm
like,
not gonna lie.
drenched.
I would be the woman that would be like, screw the mask. No offense, guys. But I would rip that thing off because in that moment, you're just like, I'm already struggling.
Yeah.
Do I really need a mask on my face?
And
I couldn't.
every time I was in labor, one thing I've learned about me is when I'm in pain, like I can't have anybody touch me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like near anyone. I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't need distractions because I will distract myself.
Yeah.
But you don't come and try and comfort me.
Yeah.
Don't put a sweater on me. Don't try and hold my hand. Don't do anything. Just back off and let me go through it. So when I had the mask on, I was so irritated.
I'm just wondering, like, if I did come and hold your hand, like, would you punch me in the face or something?
I would cuss you out. And then I'd be like, sorry for what I said when I was in
I'd
labor.
be like, you're so rude. I'm gonna remember this forever.
I remember, I think Farhan was trying to, he had like a wet towel, I want to say,
Yeah.
and they were trying to put it on my forehead because I sweated, like I sweat a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when I was in labor, and he like tried to put it on top of me, and I was like, and I couldn't even move my arms, and I'm just looking at the ceiling, and I was like, take this off my forehead. And he was
Okay, I'll take it off.
He was so scared. He was like, oh my god, okay, what else can I do? What else? He was like so flustered. It was hilarious. But yeah, I didn't, yeah. And he kept saying to me, he was like, channel your inner Batman voice. And I was like, shut
Nothing you're saying is helping.
Oh,
Nothing.
yeah, nothing.
Oh my god, that's so hilarious.
Oh.
But you know what? I do want to hear what people think about that toxic
Yes.
thing because
Yes.
that's what we started off on. And I think I just want to know, like, do people agree with that? That there's like not necessarily that like it has to be an extreme level of toxicity
Yep.
in marriage, but like or even a relationship, there's like a mid-level
Yep.
that a lot of people either are in or go through and they don't even see it as toxic because
Yeah.
it's almost considered normal behavior.
Yes.
And I think like it's not like, I don't know if it's gaslighting, but you almost
Oh
feel
my god,
like
it is though.
sometimes I feel like it kind of is because I think you're just, if you bring it up, you're kind of told like you're being crazy.
Yeah.
Like this is not it. Like
Yeah.
you're overthinking it. But I think like on a whole, like I think it is toxic.
Listen, ladies, we know you have friends who have friends, and you all have the tea.
But friends, yes.
Spill it.
Yeah, we want
wanna
to know,
know.
like, do you guys agree with it? Like, not agree with the fact that that is okay. But do you think that there is a mid-level of like toxic behavior?
Yes.
Let us know.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care.